What's going on, guys? This is Vince with vshred.com, and in today's video I'm going to show you 4 of the worst ab exercise mistakes that you're making and how to fix them so that you can hit your abs more effectively. Alright, like I said, today's video is going to be about 4 ab exercise mistakes that I see made all the time, and if you're currently doing these, this is going to help you hit your abs so much better in a lot less time because you're probably ripping through ab exercises, and if you don't feel it in your abs, simple fixes along the way is going to make it so that you can strengthen your core and maybe even get your abs to pop a little more. But if you're trying to get your abs to really pop, you obviously got to focus on lowering your body fat percentage. You can have the nicest six-pack in the world, but if it's hidden under a layer of fat, you're never going to see it. And if you're trying to burn that belly fat, I do have a free body type quiz that helps you to learn the fastest ways to burn body fat and build lean muscle, and it's all dependent upon your body type, so it's guaranteed to work for you. If you want to check that out, just I'll throw a link to it below in the description. You can watch the video and take the quiz. But getting into this, like I said, it's going to be 4 exercises, super common, that I see done pretty much every single time I'm at the gym. We're going to be doing some leg raises first, because leg raises, obviously a great core exercise. People a lot of times say they do it for their lower abs, even though there's no such thing as lower abs. There's just your rectus abdominis, which includes your lower abs, but it's just that six-pack area. But obviously bringing your lower body up is going to be a great way to shorten that muscle and lengthen that muscle so that you can work it effectively. Now, but when you see people doing leg raises, this is what you see. I had to get into it right here. This is what you see all the time. And the issue here is, 1, I'm going way too fast. 2, look where my back is as I bring my legs up. My back is coming way far back, and I'm creating a lot of momentum to bring my legs up, when really you need to be focusing on your back and your upper body to be staying in the same place, and then pushing your legs forward and bringing them up so that you can actually hit your abs like they're supposed to be hit. When you're creating all this momentum with that swing, you're also going to be hitting your hip flexors a lot more with that swing because your back is so far back and you're just lifting your legs up. But if you focus on keeping your back in the same spot, and the way that I do this is, the first thing that I do is really focus on flexing my core. So I get here and I'm not just dead hanging, I'm flexing my core to get myself into a nice strong position, and that immediately stabilizes my body from a lot of swinging. Like if I'm swinging right now and I just flex my core, it starts putting me back into a stronger position. And so from here, what I'm going to do is bring my legs up to the top and then bring them back down. And there's a big difference, and probably what you see and also what I feel in this than this. And this is what you see done all the time. People creating all this momentum with their legs, probably not hitting their abs that much, probably getting a lot of hip flexors. You probably feel it in your quads or in your quad area when you're doing this exercise, simply because you're creating all the momentum and hitting other muscle groups rather than getting your body stationary and really focusing on lifting your legs while your back stays in the same place. That's going to help your abs develop a lot more and get a lot stronger a lot faster because you're doing it right. So that's number 1. All right, so exercise number 2, another very common exercise that I see done for abs, and it's going to be related to the cable crunch. And if you don't know what a cable crunch is, you just get under a cable right here, you get down on your knees, and you crunch down. And so how I see this exercise done all the time is just like this. So they're getting down, all looks good, and then they start right here and they bring it down, and this is what their crunch looks like. And so the issues here is, first, at the top right here, my hands should not be extended. My arms should not be extended at all, because if I'm going from here and then I'm crunching down and then I do bring this from here to here, what's happening? Well, I'm working a muscle that I'm not supposed to be trying to work right now, because this is an ab exercise. But what's happening when I go from here to there? Well, I'm working a little bit of biceps, I'm working a little bit of back, and I'm working a lot of forearm. And so what's going to happen is you're going to start fatiguing other muscles in your body rather than just giving your abs all the attention and being able to do more crunches. Because if you're only hitting your abs, you're going to be able to do more crunches than if you're hitting your abs and your arms and your back and your forearms and everything. So you're going to be able to do more reps. The other thing is at the bottom of this exercise is as I have my hands here and I bring this down to the top of my head, when I go down to a crunch, my elbows are hitting the ground right now. And so this is leaving a lot of range of motion open that I'm not hitting, because if you're really trying to work your abs, you have to make sure that you're shortening that muscle as much as possible. And shortening that muscle as much as possible is going to mean crunching as far as you can, basically bringing your knees or your elbows all the way to your knees. So rather than starting here and then bringing it down to your head and your elbows stopping you from going all the way, what you're going to do is at the top right here, you're going to first get into position by putting this bar right behind your head, and then you're going to lock this into position. This is not going to move throughout the entire exercise. You're locking this right here, and then what you're going to do is lengthen your abs as much as possible and squeeze down all the way until when your elbows basically touch your knees. And the farther that you can crunch, the better you're going to feel that contraction. And by keeping that bar locked into place the whole time, you're going to be basically preventing other muscle groups from being worked as much, because you are just locking that and you're holding it isometrically and you're not contracting it concentrically and eccentrically. And it's just going to make it a lot easier to put all the emphasis on your abs to get the most out of this exercise and make it a core exercise rather than a core and an upper body and an arm exercise all at the same time. So rather than extending your arms and bringing this down and having your elbows stop you from going all the way, you're going to lock it into place, crunch down, really focus on getting your elbows all the way to your knees, and you're not pulling your arms with it. You're using your core to bring your elbows. There's a big difference between curling with your core and pulling down with your arms. So keep that right there. Try not to use those muscles and just curl down and let your abs do the work, and it's going to make a massive difference. If you're already doing cable crunches, or if you do them for the first time, it's going to make a huge difference the very first time you do them. So try that out. That's exercise number 2. Exercise number 3, I'm sitting here on an ab crunch machine. This probably looks a little bit different than the ab cruncher machine that you use or that's at your gym. Usually they're the ones with the handles up top and the pads in front of the feet, and you basically bring your top body down, your upper body down, your lower body up at the same time. But this is still going to apply to that exercise because it's going to have to do with the form. Now, let me get into this first. Safety first. Lock yourself in, since this one needs that. And then what I'm going to do is obviously get into position. And so this is not necessarily bad yet. As I crunch down, it's still not bad. When it becomes bad is when I start doing what everybody does. They think, oh, I got to do 4 sets of 15 here. So they start going like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they start doing this pulse type exercise. Their repetitions are probably about half, maybe a quarter of what it should be. And therefore, when you're working a muscle, if you're not lengthening the muscle as much as you can, you're not focusing on that eccentric, which is when you are lengthening that muscle, then you're not going to be getting the micro muscle tears that you're looking for when you lift. When you lift, you create these tears by lengthening and then overloading the muscle as you shorten the muscle. And so if you're not doing that, and you're basically just focusing on this crunch, and then you're bringing it about halfway up and getting right back into it, and you're rocking out reps like this, you're completely missing like half of the exercise, simply because you're not opening up your abs all the way and focusing on lengthening that rectus abdominis, focusing on lengthening the ab muscles in general. And then once you do lengthen those muscles, it leaves a lot more range of motion to get a better crunch, to get a better contraction, and just get more out of this exercise. Big difference between this, even if you go way slower and get way less reps, 10 of these is going to be way more effective than 20 of these. This is nothing. This is nonsense. I want you to really focus on going through a full range of motion and really focus on using your abs throughout every inch of this exercise. So fix that. Start lengthening the muscle as much as you can, crunching down, slowing down the exercise, focusing on quality reps over quantity, and you're going to get a lot more out of this movement. That's exercise number 3. Right, so for the 4th and final ab exercise mistake that I see made, and this one is probably the worst of them all, is the double oblique dumbbell crunch. And what I mean by that is picking up some dumbbells, and you see people doing it all the time. You see them going like this. I've even seen people put barbells on their shoulders, have 45 pounds on each side, and be crunching back and forth like this. Why is this not effective? Well, I have a weight in both hands. This weight is completely offsetting this weight. So I'm not technically pulling with any kind of muscle, because all I'm doing is letting this weight bring me down. It's almost as if I have 45 pounds in each hand, it's the exact same as if I have no pounds in each hand, because when I'm just working my forearms by holding these and going back and forth. I'm getting the same amount of ab work right now as I am when I'm holding, let's say, 100-pound dumbbells. So rather than having two dumbbells or having a dumbbell in each hand and going back and forth like this, just drop one. That's it. All you have to do is pick up one dumbbell, and then right here, now what you're going to do is you're going to be lengthening this part of the obliques, shortening this part of the obliques, and then and so there's no weight in your other hand, and so you basically have to use your abs to pull your body back up and shorten those obliques and lengthen those obliques. So by doing it with just one dumbbell in your hand, you're allowing yourself to actually work your abs like they should be worked. Then make sure you're switching hands and going the other side and really focusing on getting it way down and then pulling with these obliques to bring that weight back up. This is going to work your abs. This is not going to work your abs. This is if I'm holding nothing in my hands, because this weight offsets each other and makes the workout or makes the exercise completely useless. All you got to do is make sure it's just one weight in your hand, and even if you're using one 10-pound dumbbell in this hand, that's going to be more effective than having two 100-pound dumbbells in each hand and going back and forth, because you're not actually going to be using any muscle to stand back up straight, because that weight is going to just allow it to be like there's no weight in your hands. So hopefully that makes sense. Just drop one dumbbell, and that exercise is going to become so much more effective and actually work for you. And it's a very common exercise, so there's probably a chance that a number of people watching this video have done it before or are currently doing it and just didn't simply know. And so that's all right. But if you did learn something about one of these exercises, make sure you're clicking the thumbs up button below. That way I know to keep making videos about ab tips, or if you want a specific topic covered in my next video, comment it down below. I'm always going through comments to see what you guys want to learn about. I've obviously made a ton of content here on my YouTube channel, and make sure you're subscribing and checking out my videos to go see if I do have a video about what you're looking for. But if I don't, comment it down below and I'd be happy to make a video to help you out. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.